All right, Mike. So we actually did get a write-in this week.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, somebody emailed us on the actual website.
Let me get serious now
so that
for
was
this
pretty cool.
subscriber, this follower.
Oh, spit on him. Yeah. Spit on him, Daddy.
Like that, Dad.
All right, you good? You can see? You turned your brain
I
on?
think I really need to get glasses, though, man. I be looking at my phone, and sometimes I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking at.
Yeah, that's usually a sign.
Next thing you know, I fucking got all this porn charges of fucking rent.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into this and hear what you think, all right?
Right.
So this one says, I have been listening to the show for a few weeks now, and I want your opinion on something. I'm not a military person, and my family doesn't have any history with the military at all. My son is wanting to join, but he's only 16 years old. He's always been decent at school, never in any major trouble, and no record with law enforcement. He wants to join the Navy, and I heard you guys were both in. Can y'all give me some pros and cons from two enlisted folks? I'm not trying to change his mind. I just want him to know there are two sides to everything, and right now he thinks the Navy's all sunshine and rainbows. I appreciate y'all's insight and look forward to your thoughts. Thanks a lot. So, what are some pros and cons for this kid? There are no cons.
It's all pros. The cons are the people that are in.
I mean, that's a con.
Yeah.
So,
but I enjoyed my time in, though. So, I mean...
Yeah. I mean, just because you enjoyed it doesn't mean you enjoyed all of it. There's definitely going to be cons.
Deployments, duty.
The duty fucking sucks. Deployments are okay.
The worst thing about it is, like, duty. Nobody tells you about duty until you get to your first duty station.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Duty is like there was no duty, man. Navy would be, because like I don't even know if other branches do duty.
I would assume they do, but it's different.
I think it's more of their job though. Like I go to the Air Force Base.
Okay, we should probably explain what duty is, because I don't even know if this kid knows what the fuck duty is.
No, nobody knows what duty is. We're not supposed to tell them. That's the way the Navy goes. You don't tell people about duty until they stand duty.
It's like Fight Club.
My first duty day, I left the ship. I didn't even know I had duty. And I come back, they're like, where the fuck you been?
Like, what are you talking
about? I
about?
went to the exchange. They're like, you got duty. I was like, what the hell is duty?
Like, what are you talking about?
And my section leader, my duty section leader, was my fucking chief.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and explain what the fuck this duty is, because we keep going on talking about it. All right, so what duty is a set time that you are mandatorily forced to be on the ship, right? It's usually like once every 3 days or once every 4 days, 6 days, 8 days.
In port.
Yeah, it's in port while you're home, right? Like, so say you were stationed in San Diego, you're every 6 days.
It's also foreign ports too. It's just whenever the ship's in port.
Yeah, it's basically any time the ship is not moving at sea, right?
Yeah.
That's when you're gonna have duty days. So it can be like I was saying, it can be every 3 days, it can be every 4 days, 6 days, whatever the ship decides.
Port and starboard sometimes.
That's what it is. Sometimes literally port and starboard, which is every 2 days, right?
Yeah.
And that just means that you're going to be staying on the ship and you're going to be standing something called watches, which you'll eventually get qualified and learn how to do. So those watches can be, a quarter deck watch, which basically just means when people come onto the ship, you will check them in or find out who they're there to see and, kind of coordinate that kind of stuff. Or it can be an armed watch, which means you can be like a topside rover, which is just someone who literally stands on the outside of the ship and walks around the ship, with a fucking couple guns strapped to them in case anything goes down. They're basically like security, right? They're the first line of security. Then there's other watches and things like that. Regardless,
depends on what he's going in. Like if he goes engineering route, he'll be doing engineering. Right.
It depends on your job and things like that. But the basic premise is every time you're in port, you're going to be standing some type of duty where you cannot go home. Right, yes, so that is the
24 hours.
Yep,
more than 24 hours. You got to work the next day. No, it's just the weekend.
Exactly. So, like, if you have duty on a Monday, right? You came in on Monday morning.
No, let's say you have Sunday.
Okay, sure. Let's switch it to Sunday. So, if you come in Sunday, right? That means like most people are, enjoy their weekends because nobody works on Sundays, right? But you have duty, so you're on the ship at 7 a.m. on Sunday, and then you get off on 7 a.m. on Monday. But then your job starts on Monday, so you're just going to work.
You still got to do a full work day.
Right. So doesn't even matter. You're still at work until you go, work is over and then you get to go home. So that's duty, right? So that's probably one of the worst things about the military.
But you do need you do need duty sections. I understand that, but that's probably one of the worst things.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it really does suck, but it makes sense. Basically, on a duty section is the like minimum amount of people necessary to get a ship underway, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what you would be doing for duty. Most people don't talk about it because it's kind of like one of those, like, I don't know. It's kind of like you were saying, Mike. Recruiters and shit aren't going to try to tell you about that.
You just try to throw it out of your head, like you don't want to even think about the shit.
Yeah, because you're just like, fuck, I got duty.
Yeah, it was for the 20 years, man. That shit was. I hated duty.
Yeah, they'll think about it. 20 years, sometimes every 2 days, sometimes 6 days.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, 8. You know, like those are like the big boys. Sometimes they get 8. But yeah, so like duty's a rough thing. So some pros of the Navy would be like, for me at least, is definitely, I was about to say the people. Like the relationships you make in the Navy is definitely some of the relationships like you'll have for the rest of your life. Yeah. So, and like a lot of people, like you can go years without fucking mentioning, like saying a word to them, and then you hit them up or they'll hit you up, and it's like you never stop talking.
Yeah, you never missed a beat.
Yeah. So like that's one of the things I really, really appreciate the Navy for. Also,
traveling's good.
But
I don't know the thing about traveling now. I don't know how it is during COVID or after COVID. I just know during COVID, it was horrible.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same anymore. So here's the thing: Mike and I both got out, before COVID.
Yeah, I retired 2018.
Yeah, and I was out in 19. So COVID in 2020 is 2023. Things are way different now than when either of us were in. So I can't really speak on how things are right now.
But to be honest, though, you think about it now, like that carrier that was in Virginia.
Yeah.
With all the suicides they had over the past, and they were dry docked.
Oh, they had 4 or 5 suicides in like a month or something like that. It was fucking crazy.
I mean, it's almost a culture shock, I guess, nowadays, because the way they were living on that carrier. I mean, there's nothing you could do for junior sailors. They were having them live on board.
Yeah, that's too
And
crazy.
the junior sailors will complain about it. I don't mean to talk bad about the Navy, but nobody was doing nothing about it.
Yeah. Well, you're not talking bad. You're talking realistic. Like, you're just being real with this kid.
Yeah.
So, you're trying to be honest. Like, let him know what's coming down the line.
Because, trust me, there's going to be some stressful, hard times.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some great times.
Yeah.
For me, I got lucky. A lot of mine, I have more good times than bad times in the Navy.
Yeah. I think you got lucky. That's also your personality, too, though.
Yeah, the people helped me get through and shit like that, and my job. I mean, I was the supply guy. If I told you earlier, I said if I ever had to choose another rate in the Navy, it'll be another supply rate. I would have been an LS instead of SH.
Yeah. So
supply to me, supply was. I don't mean to brag or nothing, but I just thought it was the best job in the Navy. It's not beneficial probably outside, but I mean.
But while you're in, it is a fucking sweet gig. Yeah. Yeah. If you're gonna stay in for 20 years, that is a sweet ass gig.
Yeah, so it is. Yeah.
That is not bad. I was combat systems, so my job was a little more like technical savvy, kind of like I needed to be more tech savvy, and I also had a lot of like schools and shit I had to go to. So for me, if you wanted with the combat system side of things, if you're looking for a job outside of the Navy, combat systems is a really good way to go, at least from my perspective, because that's all I can speak on.
Yeah, that or hell, you'll be an IT. I don't even know what the ITs fall on.
ITs also. ITs will make they make so much money on it. As long as they keep their qualifications up and their certifications, like they can make a ton of money. So I don't know what you're looking into, what job you're kind of you want to do in the Navy. Like who knows? You might actually just want to be a BM, right? Bosun's mate. Good luck. That's like the oldest rate in the Navy, right? That could be your thing. But like I was saying, the things for me that made the Navy worth it are mostly the relationships and the skills that the Navy taught me through the schools. Like that's basically what I took from the Navy. So
hell, I like the port visits that we had.
Yeah, I mean the port visits were fucking
and that's
amazing.
one thing. Like that's one thing about the Navy that other branches can't do. The way that we travel, other branches can't do that.
Yeah. How many countries had you been to? Do you know?
I've been all over. So I've been all over South America, been all over Asia, Australia. I just hasn't been to the East Coast.
Okay.
So I've been on both sides of South America, been all over Asia.
Yeah.
Been to Russia, Australia.
I never been to Russia. Never
I
been
was,
to Australia.
I was at the tip of fucking South America, man.
Australia kept getting canceled for us every time we were gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time it was literally like there was like 3 different times that we were supposed to pull into somewhere in Australia, and every time it got canceled.
I think I've been
Like,
in 3 different places. I've been to Perth, Brisbane, and Sydney.
Yeah, those are the 3 big ones.
Yeah.
Yep. And those were the 3 that we were supposed to go to and made none of them.
Snorkeling in the fucking Great Barrier Reef, man. You know, I get to say I did that shit.
Exactly. Like shit like that is
and
what
I got paid
makes it
to
cool.
do it.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. Like stuff like that is what makes the Navy awesome, you know, and different from other branches.
Yes.
So I think if you were dead set on a branch, the Navy is the way to go. Like,
nah, I mean, I'd go Air Force, but
but if he wants to travel and see the world and shit like that,
yeah, if you want to travel, see the world, yeah, Air Force. And also, if you don't have a family, I think Navy would be the way to go.
Yeah, it's hard on people with kids and shit. When you go on
deployment, you don't have to worry about nothing back at the home front.
Yeah, you could just literally get up and go, kind of thing. Just put your lease, cut your lease or whatever, and be good to go.
Live on the ship. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So there are some pros. The cons is definitely duty. That's fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
It's also can be very, very stressful, depending on what your job is.
Also, how much sea time you're gonna before you hit a port.
Yeah, and that's another thing. If you're out at sea, sometimes you'll be out at sea for 45 plus days.
You get one beer.
Before you get one beer every 45 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's something that bugs you, it's also really hard on like just relationships in general. So if like you're worried about like a girlfriend or like a wife, some shit like that, like it can be pretty stressful. So make sure that before you join something, like before you join the Navy or any branch, that you kind of let whoever you're with, like they understand what it is you're doing. So like that makes it a lot easier.
Also, with like when I first came in, we were still fucking writing letters and sending them. You know, we didn't have the internet to send.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we fucking that letter shit, man. God, I'm still waiting on a fucking care package that my wife sent me with a blue shirt in, and I'm still waiting on that shit since '98. I still ain't got it.
That shit is floating around in some ocean.
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go to South America and see some guy wearing my motherfucking blue shirt.
It's like, give me that shit, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean you can do some. You can look up some stuff online and get other people's opinions.
Especially if you know what job field you're gonna do, look up what that entails. Engineering life is hard.
Yep, that is hard.
Pretty much, like I said, everybody who still watches, like Supply, we didn't stand watch. I'm gonna brag about that.
Yeah, you guys were good.
Yeah, but y'all people had to stand watches and still do their workload.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that shit was crazy.
Well, it is what it is. So it's definitely not all rainbows. Like the gentleman was saying, his son was under the impression it was. It's all rainbows and sunshine. It's definitely not. But there are some awesome times. Like some of my favorite memories ever were just being out in the middle of the ocean, like the sunset's going down or whatever. We pull out some chairs, pull out some cigars, and just fucking chilling out there, watching the sun go down, smoking cigars with your friends. And the term misery loves company really does apply. Because you're all fucking miserable. You've all been at sea for like 30 plus days at this point. And you're just
you can see some people, they go tired. I must get mad over the littlest thing.
But it's true. Like misery really loves company in that sense.
But you know what? Like,
it's cool.
If you have a good MWR, they try to do little things to make the deployment a little bit better.
So MWR is morale, welfare, and recreation. Like Mike was saying, it's a little program that tries to keep you entertained and kind of keep your morale up and things like that. Do they always do the best job? No. Do they try? Yes. And it also depends on the type of person you are, like how receptive you are to that type of stuff. Some people are just like, this is the dumbest shit ever. I don't want to play fucking cards on the mess decks.
Yeah,
but other people are like, oh, fuck yeah, I'll play cards on the mess decks. Like, just little stupid shit like that.
And then like fucking our ship, we had jersey days where you get to wear an NFL jersey.
Yeah,
we had
stupid hat day. Yeah. Exactly.
I always wanted to have throwback Thursdays. We just wear old sailor outfits.
That would have been cool.
I could have wore fucking dungarees again.
Yeah, or fucking the Cracker Jacks and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it just depends on your commands too. Like I've had great commanding officers, and I've had super shitty commanding officers, and it just also depends on the time. Like the shitty commanding officers, truth be told, they weren't even all that bad, but they were just trying to get us to pass an inspection called in-serve.
Yeah, they got there
very difficult to pass.
Ready for all the inspections they have.
So inspections are a big thing too, and like it's a lot of pressure for you to pass, because if you don't pass your part, then the entire ship can fail, and that's on you.
And that's like crazy, because like you got your deployment, but before you go on deployment, you got to pass all these inspections, so you're still getting underway.
Yeah, exactly.
All these times before deployment. So, man, my first ship, we were pretty much 6 months in, 6 months out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was that the Blue Ridge?
No, my first ship was Ticonderoga.
Okay. Yeah.
We did a bunch of CD ops, that counter drug ops down in South America.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that shit was fun.
So, there are some really cool things. There are some really shitty things. It just depends really on the type of person you are and how receptive you are to, to stress, really. If you deal with stress well, you won't really have a problem. But if you're a person who freaks out over any little thing not going your way, then you're going to have a terrible fucking time.
Schedule.
Yeah, then you're going to have a terrible time. Because one thing somebody told me in the Navy, like early on, was you can't even be like, you know how they tell you to not be so rigid? Like you got to be more like a liquid, like kind of flow with things?
Yeah.
They were saying you can't even be a fucking liquid. You got to be like a gas.
Yeah.
Like you literally have to have no fucking plan. You're just there.
Just float around.
That's it. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. So not even going with the flow, just fucking be a gas. Like, that's it. All right. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I got. Mike, you're pretty good with that, or what?
Do your research, really. That's the main thing. Like,
do your fucking research.
Tell you everything about do your fucking. We can tell you everything, but I'm sure we missed a lot of things. But like, I had my 20 years. I'd do it again. To be honest.
Do it again. There you go.
But not right now at this age. Not at this age.
Yeah, no, a little different. But yeah, so if if we helped you, good. I hope we helped you. And honestly, write us back and let us know if there's anything else you want to know, like specifically,
like a question that he really wants to know an answer to, because like we can go on forever about.
Yeah, like you just gave us kind of a vague question, so we gave you kind of vague answers.
Like, hey, if my son he's thinking about going this rate.
Yeah.
We can kind of describe it the best.
Exactly.
I can.
Like if you have specific stuff, that's the best kind of questions you can give, because we can give specific answers, right? So please go ahead and write back to us, so that way we can help you out some more. I actually really like this question. So for those of you out there who are just thinking about, oh, maybe I should write a question in, please do. It doesn't have to be anything military related. It can be about goddamn anything. We
know a lot of stuff, man. I'm very educated.
we do know.
I do have my associates in photography.
So if there's something you think that we could answer for you, we'd happily do so. All right. So go ahead, write those questions. You can even write them as comments down below.